it's time to get going. And I just want to make sure we actually have our presenters. Looks like maybe we still don't have Krista from DABA just yet, and we're also waiting for Councilmember Murillo.
I've reached out to Krista. I'll help her get on.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll reach out to Councilmember Murillo and make sure she's joining us. Okay, I see we have Krista. Thank you for joining us. So now I'm just checking in with Councilmember Murillo. I think we'll go ahead and, oh, hey, Councilmember Murillo. We'll go ahead and get started. So thank you everyone for joining the August meeting of the Public Relations, Communications, Tourism, Libraries, Boards and Commissions and Citizens Groups Policy Committee. We appreciate you taking the time to be here today. I'll call the meeting to order at 3:31 p.m. and we will, it looks like, nope, okay. We will start with the approval of the minutes. Councilmember Murillo and Councilmember Medina, do you guys have any changes?
No changes, but eScribe still doesn't have these meeting packets. It's like the only committee or only meeting that doesn't load through eScribe. So just wanted to flag that for folks. And maybe it's just on my end, but I haven't ever been able to access them on eScribe just via the emails that get sent out. I'll reach out to Cecilia offline and go from there. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I use it in email because I don't love eScribe. So I didn't even realize that that was an issue. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, so next is announcements. Does anybody have any announcements for upcoming events? Midori?
Thank you for calling on me before I even raised my hand. You knew I was going to say something. We are hosting our fundraiser for the Fox Arts Center on September 9th, and we would love, love, love to have your attendance there. The sales are very slow, unfortunately, and we know that that means less support for our arts organizations. So just want to make a plea that if there's any way you can attend or figure out how to buy a table or anything of that nature, we would love to have anybody attend the event. The theme this year is Greek gods and goddesses, and usually when folks come, they get very decked out. Last year it was a 1920s party at Heritage Eagle Bend. It was just a total blast, and everybody was so fun. This year, the event will be held at the Fox itself. And so I think that offers a great opportunity to just check out the theater and also see where your money is going. There will be a DJ and a dance floor, great food, drinks, etc. So we hope you, oh, and also a preview of the upcoming, well, the show that's opening now, Blues in the Night. So hope that you can make it. Tickets are $75, or if you want to get the VIP ticket, which is $150, that includes your entire subscription for the entire upcoming season at the Fox.
Awesome. Thank you for letting us know that. And I will check in about doing a council table for that as well. So thank you so much. And then any other announcements of upcoming events, Ryan?
Actually, I just want to acknowledge our event this past weekend at Global Fest. Huge kudos to Midori's team and certainly people on my team and some people on the pros team, Ricardo and Minsu. If you didn't attend, it was a well turned out event. We had estimated, according to APD, about 8 to 10,000 people attend. That's a rough number because we obviously we had so many points of entry, so it's hard to know where everyone was coming from and where they were going. But and we didn't have any tickets obviously sold to really capture that number. But anyway, it was it was a lot of fun. Thought it was a great event, and I hope if you were there, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling that out. It was definitely a wonderful event that we look forward to every year. So, but this year definitely was incredible and very busy. So, thank you all for all of your hard work. I know it was a lot.
It was, yeah.
And it was very hot. So also thank you for being there working in the very, very hot day. All right. Any other announcements? Yes, Krista.
I actually have one. We, the night before the Fox Theater event on September 8th, we're opening our annual fall exhibition at DAVA. This year it's called Rethinking Plastic, and it is a super great interdisciplinary showcase of all the learning that happened at DAVA this summer, with guest artists and scientists learning about plastic consumption and our waterways and our oceans and our environment, and just really some really great connections that kids learned about. And it's going to have a giant bioluminescent jellyfish in the gallery and all kinds of cool stuff. So that is opening Friday, September 8th from 4 to 7 here at DAVA.
All right. Thank you so much. Any other announcements? All right. Well, thank you all. With that, we will move on to item 5A, which is our cultural arts plan for 2023 through 2026. So Midori, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Before we even get started, I just want to say I'm so excited to share this information with you and to really have an opportunity to highlight our cultural services offerings and division at the city. I think it's a frequently overlooked part of how we serve the community, and hopefully when you see the feedback that we got from the community and the plan that's been put together, you'll be really excited about the direction that we're heading in. I want to quickly introduce to you, I know Carrie Drum is on the call with us as well. Carrie was our tireless champion, our consultant that we hired to help get this entire plan put together, and she is joining us today.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you.
All right. I think we are ready to go. Can I advance or do you advance, Ines?
I'll advance for you.
Excellent. Thank you. Next slide. So just a quick refresher, our Cultural Services Division includes 4 program areas, and I know that this group knows this very well because we've talked about this multiple times, but Art in Public Places, which encompasses all of the different amazing public art that we have around the city, is headed up by Roberta Bloom. And then we have our cultural arts education team, which includes Lisa Mumpton heads that up with a couple of full-time staff, but then an additional like 30 different instructors that all teach different types of arts, visual arts, performing arts, theater classes, music, etc. Our Aurora Fox Art Center is another one of our incredible program areas. I'm very excited that we have a new Fox executive producer. He is starting on Monday. His name is Rich Cowden. He is the current general manager of the JCC and Meisel Arts and Culture Center. It's a big deal that he's coming to the Fox. We're so excited for him to get going there and really get our Fox Arts Center up and running. And then our fourth program area is our Aurora History Museum and Historic Sites. Again, about another 12 folks work in that division. They not only work on exhibits and education and programming in the History Museum itself, but they take their exhibits out on the road. They do programs in schools. Their exhibits travel to other locations, including like the Aurora Town Center, etc. And then they also work on historic landmarking, which I know you're all familiar with that process as well, and identifying parts of our community that have historic value and should be preserved for that reason. Next slide. So I'm super proud of our cultural services team. We really wanted to put together some information to share with the community about the contributions and the financial impact of this team to the city. Krista knows a lot about the arts economy. A lot of folks who work in this zone know that we are always contributing to the economy and to the bottom line for the city through jobs and other things, but this, I think, really helps bring it into focus. So just a couple of quick facts about each of the program areas. Our Fox Arts Center produces itself 5 shows per season, but then also has an additional, just a bunch of additional rentals and private shows that are happening there. We have 2 performing spaces there, the Fox Theater, the proper theater itself, which has 242 seats, as well as our black box studio that holds 72. That team, as I just made the plea for you to buy some tickets to our fundraiser, they raise about $38,000 in donations, or at least they did in 2022, which is great. We had nearly 7,000 attendees at the Fox just for our shows, which I'm also really proud of. And that ticket revenue accounts for about $130,000. It did in 2022, which is great. Our arts education division, which like I mentioned earlier, includes the art, music, dance, pottery, theater, and outreach, offered 826 classes in 2022. And keep in mind, this was still a year that we were coming out of the pandemic. So that should show you how in demand these classes are. They had over 44,350 participants, which is also just an enormous number. And that was a 25% increase over the previous year. This team, through their classes, raises over $300,000 worth of revenue. And through their outreach team, they served close to 18,000 participants there. Next slide. Our Art in Public Places program, and you're going to hear a lot more about Art in Public Places because they are also wrapping up their master planning process. But that collection includes 356 different works that are valued at $4.5 million. In 2022, they installed 15 new pieces and had an additional 15 pieces cleaned and restored. They also manage a program of exhibits at 3 of our different libraries, and they put together 15 different art exhibits at those 3 locations for more than 40,000 people that attended. Aurora Dance Arts, they performed 11 different performances and recitals in 2022. They just by themselves have almost 3,000 participants and raise about $50,000 in revenue as well. And then our Aurora History Museum and Historic Sites, 47 exhibits at 9 different locations. As I mentioned before, it's not just going on at the History Museum, it's going on all over the city. They had 652 participants in their educational programs. They're working with 2 different historic districts and 2 cultural heritage sites. I think Mission Viejo is our newest cultural heritage site. They also managed 32 different historical landmarks and had over 10,000 visitors to the museum in 2022. Next slide. So we hope that it's apparent, but it's always worth saying, why is arts and culture important in flourishing communities? Because that's what we want Aurora to be, a really flourishing place. And we feel like arts and culture are really the building blocks of personal agency and voice. So what does that mean? These are the activities that spur creativity and imagination, stimulate empathy, deepen that cross-cultural understanding, and also encourage discipline and teamwork. Who here has ever taken a dance class? I see lots of hands raised. Yay, or been in a production of a play or a musical. Okay, less hands, but still hands. So, you have to work together with a group of people. You have to discipline your own body. You have to learn the moves. You have to work with the team to put on a show. And so these are really all of the things we use every day in our lives, right? This is a great training ground for that. So, some additional skills, that decision making, prioritization, strategizing, and then the big one in the arts, and we all know this, is that collaborative problem solving. Because at the end of the day, that's really what a production at the Fox is, right? It's just a collaborative problem solving session, and we figure out something amazing at the end of the day. Next slide. So a little bit about our arts plan history and the current status of it. The first community arts plan was published in 1993. And there was an additional one published after that that covered the years of 2016 to 2020. And this current arts plan, which is called Aurora Arts Ahead, Cultural Arts Plan 2023-26, is the city's third cultural arts plan. Did any of you know that we had 3 different plans already? Some people are nodding yes, and some people are nodding no. So this is why we're talking about it, so that you can kind of get an idea of the history here. So we did contract with Purpose Aligned Consulting and Carrie Drum in the fall of 2022. We had a total of 665 participants that provided feedback through a variety of different mechanisms for this plan. Next slide. So Arts Ahead, Aurora's cultural arts plan, first and foremost, we hope reflects the priorities of Aurora's citizens. That is really, really important to us, that all of the feedback that was collected is first and foremost the priority and what's represented in this plan. It's also, we hope, going to provide some direction as a roadmap to bring the city's diverse arts, culture, and history really to the forefront. We hope that it will help us leverage the resources, not just at the city, but throughout the entire city, all groups that are working on arts-related activities, as well as our internal teams. And of course, we really want this to enrich the lives of the people who live here, but also the people who are coming here to experience all of these different things. Next slide. So we'll go through kind of the major findings first, and then I'll go through what we've identified as priorities based on the major findings. So the first major finding, and it's a pretty good one, at least for us, is that Aurorans really do want more cultural arts programming. They appreciate arts and culture, and you can see based on the survey results that we got back that, agree and strongly agree by far are the most popular categories for there. Next slide. The next major finding, again, we're very pleasant, not surprised, but it was very nice to see that Aurorans really want arts and culture facilities to remain a top priority. And this specific question was about having a multi-purpose facility for arts and culture events and activities. And you can see, again, very important and somewhat important are the vast, vast majority of our survey respondents. Next slide. This is also something that we've learned from our community, is that communications and marketing are getting better, but there's always room for improvement. And I don't think it's a big surprise to see that. But you can see this specific question about which of the following factors keep you from attending or participating in more art and cultural activities in Aurora. You can see there's a lot of emphasis about I didn't know which activities were offered. That is by far the largest bar in there. Next slide. Some additional findings included that festivals and community events are really important. I think we learned that from the amazing Global Fest that Ricardo and the pros team put together. People would like more classes. This is something we hear a lot, and our community really believes that these opportunities really should be available for youth. Krista is doing great work in that zone, as we all know. Aurora's creative community is siloed and needs more facilities. This was something that we heard a lot about too. And Carrie, please feel free to jump in at any time. But there was quite a bit of discussion about how there are a lot of different groups that are kind of working in their own different ways, and we're not as great about convening and coming together and sharing kind of all of the activities that are going on. And then Aurora's diversity is a strength. Our respondents by far viewed that as, something to be really proud of, and, making sure that we're looking at our arts activities and services through kind of that equity lens. Next slide. So based on all of that, our first priority will be programming and space. And so this is really about enhancing and expanding access to the arts, culture, and history through diverse programming and improved facilities. So above all, the community really expressed a strong desire for the city to enhance and expand its offerings and improve its facilities. So we hope that these goals and strategies will help the city just have more opportunities for people to participate and benefit from the arts. In your backup, I've got a hard copy of the actual plan. There are very specific items under each one of these priority areas that I did not include on the slide, but I'm happy to get into further if you would like to know more. Carrie, do you want to add anything about this first priority?
Not particularly, just that, yeah, people were really interested in more, and they were really interested in more close to where they are. So we heard a lot in community input sessions, like, I don't want to have to go to Denver just to go out to experience some theater. I would love to be able to take a pottery class closer to where I live in Aurora. So I think, yeah, they definitely want more, and they want it where they live.
Yeah, and we heard specific feedback about better chairs at the Fox, some improvements at the museum. I was trying to think more space for visual arts. There's not like a space that's expressly dedicated to visual arts. Any questions? We can do questions at the end, but always feel free to stop me if you have a question about anything as we're going through this. Okay, next slide. Our next priority is around visibility and really elevating the profile of Aurora's arts, culture, and history. So just kind of like as we talked about a little bit in that marketing gap, this is why we want to prioritize this, because the public doesn't seem to be as aware of all of the different arts and culture activities that are available in Aurora. And so we really want to be able to talk more with the community and showcase all of the different things that are happening, like in our arts district. So just thoughts about investing in multilingual marketing efforts, really engaging more deeply with the diverse communities that exist in Aurora. We hope that, that will include people in what we're doing, and we want to highlight what they're doing. Any additional thoughts about that, Carrie?
Yeah, I think you said it well, that people really wanted the two-way street, so the place to learn about what the city's doing, but also the place to share what they're doing, and that kind of gets back to that siloed analysis that happened that Midori spoke about earlier. How can the city kind of serve as a convener for all of this information so that folks can see, oh, if I want to go to the theater in Aurora, where do I go? How do I go? What kind of classes are available? So a more comprehensive approach to that.
Okay, next slide. The third priority will be connection. And that's really about strengthening connection in Aurora's creative community. So this is really about bringing everybody together, really showcasing even more all of the diversity of our talented artists. The convener, as Carrie mentioned, the city can really play a role in collaboration and getting everybody together, encouraging innovation, and again, just creating that supportive network for local artists and creatives. There are some really fun, cool things under this one too. I really want to encourage you to read the plan if you have a moment. I think one of the initiatives I'm really excited about this is 3.3, which is develop and host an annual Aurora Arts Awards event to recognize Aurora's creative community. So more to come on that, but we think it would be really nice to have our own kind of showcase of Aurora art and artists. Next slide. The fourth priority is really being able to quantify that economic impact and just sharing with the community really what kind of impact we have on the economy. So really just talking about the business case, reporting back the ROI, quantifying the impact, educating stakeholders, um, just really making sure people understand the revenue generation that we do have happening currently, but then also what are the new ways we can make money? How can we get more grants? How do we raise more revenue? How can we rethink our fundraisers, etc., so that we can attract new investment into the arts economy in Aurora. Carrie, is there anything else you want to say about this one?
Nope, I think you summed it up. It's both figuring out what the impact is and then increasing that, right?
Yeah, and yes, we'll just leave it at that. Next slide. And then our final priority area will be around internal infrastructure and just making sure that we're operating at our maximum effectiveness. This was really kind of about working among our internal team, the Cultural Services Division, but also really working with our boards and commissions. Our Library and Cultural Services Department works with 9 different boards and commissions. I think we have the most of any other department at the city. 6 of those boards and commissions are appointed by council, and then we have 3 additional fundraising arms, 3 different foundations that are also working with us. So this one I'm really excited about. It's really about how do we get all those boards and commissions working together in a unified way that really helps create an enormous advocacy arm for the arts and libraries in the city of Aurora. So we hosted our first ever combined boards mix and mingle back in May. And this was the first time like these folks had all kind of gotten together and been able to look around the room and see who their peers are and see, what kind of possibilities they might have for working on projects together in the future. So that is really exciting. Do you want to say anything else about that one, Carrie?
No, just that I think we talked a little bit, Midori and I, and through this process of like priority 5 is kind of the engine, right? That's going to make all the other things happen. So you all have so many really dedicated volunteers and folks serving on these boards and these commissions and staff. So here's a way to kind of get them all aligned and make the plan move through their support.
Thanks. Next slide. So we have hopefully a pretty simple question for you. I'm happy to take additional questions, but our question for you is, does council wish to approve the Aurora Arts Ahead Cultural Arts Plan 2023-2026?
All right, thank you so much, Midori. And also thank you, Carrie, for joining and for putting together the plan. So I guess I'll start and see if Councilmember Medina has any questions.
Nothing at this time, but thanks for all the work you do and look at ways to help support.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Murillo?
Yeah, no questions. This looks really good. I did see that like the juxtaposition of wanting more, to see more, but also not being aware of what's going on. So I'm curious to see what we'll do to try to rectify that. But this looks good, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And so I have one question regarding the priority 5 and the boards and commissions, because you mentioned the 9. And I know that for some of those, we have folks that are on multiple of them. And so I'm wondering if any of the conversation is about perhaps combining any of those that have kind of not the same function, but compatible functions. And then maybe that might help keep the commissions full and take a little bit off the plates of those folks that are serving on multiple.
It's a great question and a great point. We did work with Tristan and the city clerk's team during kind of that the rethinking period of all the boards and commissions. There was a very strong desire to keep all the boards and commissions as intact, but with fewer members. So we did make some revisions as far as the board sizes. And we do have the Cultural Affairs Commission. We do have within the bylaws, and I guess it's the rules for that board do include actually having representation from the other cultural services boards. So that is the overlap, is that's kind of the board where everybody um, reports and kind of lets everybody else know what's going on. So we're always working through it and definitely open to different ideas and suggestions.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, and that's helpful. I think I look at some of those and I'm like, some of these folks have a lot of meetings to be in. And so is that the best use of their time to be in numerous commission meetings, or could there be other ways that we could support them better or utilize their skills better? So that's maybe a future conversation we can have as y'all are looking at this. I certainly don't want to tell people they have to be on fewer boards and commissions. I just also want to, support them as best we can.
And maybe this is getting too in the weeds here, Midori, so pull me back, but I think there's also conversations around like good recruitment strategies. So that, you're not always going back to the same people to fill those positions, and what are the untapped folks in the communities that could be great to serve on these and just haven't been engaged or reached out to. So this is getting really tactical with this, but I definitely think it's part of the conversations of like the makeup of these folks and what they're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I did just want to say I really love the arts awards idea. We have that for a lot of different other things in the city, right? Business awards and volunteer awards. So I think that would be wonderful to have that opportunity for folks to come together. And then my other question is about the inventory and creating the inventory under the convening and connecting. What kind of groups and folks are we planning to reach out to make sure that that inventory is really thorough and captures all of our communities?
It's a great question, and I'm not really sure we have the answer yet, to be honest. you know, there's a lot of different ways this could be approached. We know that there are a lot of, not a lot, but there are a few groups that are kind of already working in these zones, and we really don't want to repeat or, be inefficient. So, like, one of the things we had talked about, this is just an example, but there was a lot of discussion around a master calendar of arts and culture events. And like in this case, we really thought rather than the city like creating this calendar, like Visit Aurora is already doing this. So how can we how can we direct people to tools that are already in place? So, I'm not sure that we have, like a direction on this that's been decided, but like ACAD is already doing, they've got a membership directory. How do we kind of work on getting folks maybe added to an arts directory that already exists, or how do we create one? I'm not sure. I don't know what that's going to look like. We just know that this is something our community has said to us. Can you help get this figured out and, create like basically a network or a database of folks that are doing art and creating in our community?
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, we want to not duplicate efforts that have already been underway. I do wonder with ACAD, like if people might see that as like that's a specific to that geographic area kind of thing and might see themselves as maybe not like belonging to that directory. So I don't know if there's a way to
It's
either
a great point.
yeah, either say that's not true or to maybe like network that directory to some other geographically relevant ones throughout other parts of the
And
city.
it could be that we're just going to pull all these things together because there's a Potter's Guild, there's an Aurora Visual Arts, there's, the different kinds of actors groups that all exist, all the different theaters and the actors that, and the performers that they're working with there. There's, different pockets of folks that teach piano lessons and, there's the Piano Teachers Association. So all of these different groups are out there and they've all got their lists of folks, but how do we just kind of bring it all together and where does it live and how does that happen? It's going to be a fun collaborative problem solving process to go through with our arts community.
Awesome. Well, that is excellent. And I really appreciate, again, the time, the thought, the details, and certainly also the community feedback. It's exciting to just kind of see where folks are on that. So thank you so much for all the work on this.
You're so welcome. And I just really want to thank Carrie and I want to thank the staff, the cultural services team. They're very invested in this and they've spent a lot of time and energy. And then of course the entire community, everybody that came to our public input sessions, that answered our survey. We had a lot of discussion at the public input session. So it's been a really good experience. And I'm just so thankful for everybody who's participated. Thanks for your support.
All right, thank you. So with that, the question before us is whether we approve this plan. So Councilmember Murillo and Councilmember Medina.
I'm just moving forward.
Okay, awesome. And I also support moving it forward. So there you go. We approve and thank you so much for bringing that to us. All right. I'm just going to get my agenda back up. Where did it go? Oh, right. I have it up. I'm just all the way down at the bottom of it. So our next item is the presentation of the Immigrant and Refugee Commission. And we'll go ahead and hand it off to Ricardo, and then you'll introduce our other speakers.
Thank you, Councilmember Coombs. It's a great honor for me to present our share of the commission. And actually, let me tell you that, we're very pleased to have a great group of people from the community doing tremendous work in the commission. As you know, we have a very small team, so we rely many times on the support and work from members of the commission. So just one example is Global Fest. They play a very important role in the city, so it's a great pleasure for me to present Jackie Senevic, our chair of the commission today. Jackie?
Hi, everyone, and I want to thank you for having us here. I'm here actually with Komi Akpalo. Sorry, Komi, if I'm saying that incorrectly. But Ashvina, our vice chair, is not able to be with us today, so Komi will be taking her place. And Komi, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Komi Akpalo, and Jackie, that was a great pronunciation.
Okay.
So I give you props there. So it's a pleasure to meet everyone and be part of this.
So we can go to the next slide. So we'll look at the work we've done over the last year as the Aurora Immigrant and Refugee Commission. And I do want to thank Ricardo and the Office of International and Immigrant Affairs, because they are a lot of support. I know you're saying we support you, Ricardo, but really you're supporting us and all of our goals and our volunteer work. So appreciate it. So we'll kind of go through our goals quickly over the last year, and then our outcomes, the highlights. So it's a pretty short presentation, but our first goal for the 22-23 work plan is always to incorporate the 12 goals of the integration plan that the office has. And so those really focus on access to civic, economic, and social resources. Some of the things that we wanted to do in the last year are focus on pathway to citizenship. One of our commission members runs an immigration consciousness podcast where he interviews different immigrants in the Aurora community and highlights them on his podcasts. We also recruited, our goal was to recruit new members to fill the open positions in the commission, which I'll give a little spoiler and say we did. So we got 6 new commission members, which has been great. And then the We Are Aurora photography campaign. So our goal number 2 was to work with the city and come to the city council chambers when necessary to participate. We did the proclamation, a couple of proclamations this year. And then also, of course, help out with Global Fest. So these are any city initiatives that are going on to pursue integration for the immigrants and refugees within the community. So we also, in different ways, volunteer at other events, not just Global Fest. We attend those just to get our faces out there in the community and know that we connect with different immigrant and refugee populations to know, so that they know we are a voice for them within the city. We also participate in advisory meetings and attend the ceremonies, as I've said. And then goal 3, this was one of our favorites in the last year. We were highlighting immigrant and refugee owned businesses in Aurora. So that's something that we are just going to different businesses that we find and asking them if they want to be featured on our social media, mostly Facebook. And then we have a little story about them. We talk about why people should go visit their store. And we have some, I think 1 or 2 pictures later. But we really focused on different food venues, but also there was an auto sales business that we also highlighted, as well as dollar store. So that was a lot of fun. And then goal 4 is always education. So education in the community, lifting up areas of issues for the immigrant and refugee populations, being their voice when they can't necessarily speak about those issues directly with different city members. So that's always us going out in our own communities and networking with them, networking with the leaders and figuring out what that is for each different population. And next slide. And I won't go through all of these because I've mentioned some of them, but just some outcomes that we did in goal 1 that I didn't mention. The We Are Aurora photography campaign, just a little more about that. That was really organized by the Office of International and Immigrant Affairs, but we helped, we attended a training session and helped get out in the community to take those photos, and some of those are in the City Hall. Hopefully you were able to go to the 2nd floor or have been, and you've seen those. And then we promote the ESL classes in the community, but specifically through the Community College of Aurora, Pathways to Citizenship programs, not only at the city, but also in different adult education programs. And then, like I said, we attended a lot of different events in the community. Goal 2, we met with different city organizations and departments. Some are listed there. And Global Fest, both last year and then it's already passed, so this year. But there were great successes. We helped with the Parade of Nations specifically, and then tabling at the city and the offices table to hand out information and different free goodies for the community and really connect with our community members. And then one of the highlights just this summer was accepting the proclamation for the Immigrant Heritage Month and the Aurora International Month. And then we also attended the Refugee Speakers Bureau, which was, I believe, in June. I've already spoken extensively about Goal 3, highlighting the businesses. So Goal 4, some of the things that we were able to do, we attended community forums to address the issues impacting the immigrant and refugee communities. But then we also we attended the public forum that was in the chambers for the Chief of Police finalist, just to give feedback about what the community was looking for, or different communities that we represent or looking for. And next slide. Tommy will talk about a little more about the highlights.
Yeah, so the highlights, just 4 of them, and they're just things that we were really proud to have accomplished this year. A couple of them have gone and passed. So number 1 was the presentation or the roundtable with Dr. Elsa Ramos. And, you know, we hosted her and had a discussion on migration. And she kind of spoke to us a bit about her research as well on migration from Central America to the US and what some of those migrants face in their journey. And that was a well-attended presentation roundtable. And then Global Fest, as we've mentioned, which is such a big event, and we were so proud of the turnout. The commission voted for and presented an award to the Center for Adult Education, which is in the Community College of Aurora, for being one of the best organizations that helps immigrants and refugees in the city of Aurora. And then the Parade of Nations, we helped gather volunteers for that. And then one of the things as well that we've done is have a subcommittee that is researching how we can use social media to understand, how we can be more effective, how the commission can become more effective, how people are accessing events and promotion, and how to engage with the youth when it comes to the refugee and immigrant communities. And then we can go to the next slide. And then now we're in some of the pictures. The first picture here you're looking at is some of the members of the commission accepting the proclamation for International Heritage Month. And then next slide. And these are also pictures from that. And then we included more pictures, another picture from the presentation of Dr. Elsa Ramos. It was incredible to just, again, amazing to have worked with her this year to have that roundtable and discussion. Then we can go to the next slide.
Yeah, so some of these, so a couple of our members down at the bottom right were invited to a roundtable to discuss the Asian hate in the community. So that was a privilege for them. And then we have a picture of the El Salvadoran community, which is great on the top right. And then the left, I believe, was from last year, again, accepting the proclamation for the International Month. Next slide. And same thing for the picture on the left for the Asian Hate Roundtable. The picture on the right is for an immigrant-owned business. I believe the owner is Nepali. Next slide. And then this one is from the Refugee Speakers Bureau, I believe. That one of our Minsu, of course, from the Office of International Immigrant Affairs, attended, but also Anisha, who's also from the Nepali community. And that, yeah, that concludes our presentation of our work this last year.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you guys so much for joining us and for sharing. Councilmember Murillo, do you have any questions?
No questions. I'm really excited to hear that you were able to recruit 6 members. I think recruiting 1 member is hard enough. And just to see how great y'all have done. I think this plan is very thought out. I love to see how active y'all have been. Especially I always give props, especially as a volunteer group. I know there's so many other demands on your time, and just to see how engaged and involved you are, I'm just really happy to see that, and however we can support continuing to recruit other folks. I know I was on a I know they're called citizen advisory, but like resident advisory committee before I was on council, and it made me feel very connected to the community. So I just love to see the progress and all of the updates. So no questions, but keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Medina.
Yes, kudos to you and everyone there, and let me know how I can assist. I work with a couple groups with immigrant refugee populations, the Welcome Center, which works with adults, and then the Hands to the Future, which works with youth immigrant refugees. So let me know how I can be of assistance there and can make more connections. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be great, just because we do need more opportunities to work with immigrant and refugee youth. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Medina, and thank you guys so much for your presentation. I don't have any questions really. I'm pretty blown away by the amount of stuff you've just been able to accomplish in the last year. And I know I've seen the social media, but I also follow your page, so that makes it easy. But it was great for me to be able to see, you know, the different businesses being highlighted, and when possible, be able to go to those myself. So thank you for doing that. And again, just for the incredible amounts of work. And I hear that in order to reach young people, you have to get on like TikTok and other platforms, not Facebook, or maybe Instagram could reach some young people. I don't know, because I'm not that young anymore. But that's what I hear, is that you got to use TikTok to reach those young people.
I don't
So
know how to do that, so I'm in the same boat.
you can find a young person to volunteer to do it, maybe. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And is there any questions you have for us, or any requests you have of council in terms of supporting you?
I don't think so. Comey, do you have any questions?
I don't think so either. I just appreciate the support from council.
Nope.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much again for being here, for sharing, for your incredible amount of work. And if there are things that we can do to support you and on your behalf, please let us know.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. And finally, we have our annual report from DAVA. Krista, or do we have someone introducing Krista from staff? Sorry, I look at my agenda.
No, we don't.
I think it's
Okay,
just me.
so Krista, go ahead.
And Krista, you want me to show the YouTube video first, right?
Yes, I will introduce myself and that, and we'll watch the video. So thank you so much for having me. Again, I'm Krista Robinson. I'm the Executive Director of Downtown Aurora Visual Arts.
You got suddenly very quiet, Krista. We can't hear you now.
Okay, let me check my... Maybe I can lean closer. Is that better? Speak louder?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Great. So my name is Krista Robinson, and I'm the Executive Director of Downtown Aurora Visual Arts. I know many of you from being in the community. I've been here with DAVA about 18 years, but 5 years as Executive Director. So it's really nice to be able to share some updates about DAVA. And I want to start with a wonderful video that Visit Aurora created as part of their Made in Aurora series. First of all, because they did a fantastic job with it, and second, because it just really captures our programs in action, and I think sometimes video is the best way to do that. So let's start with that.
I'm not getting audio from the video right now.
That with your community is just the best thing. And that's the magic of what our
Network.
Yes, it did work. We could hear it.
Okay.
is all about.
Now I'm not hearing anything again.
Sparks creativity, increases opportunity, and strengthens the community. And we do this by providing unique programming that combines art and technology along with leadership and positive youth development.
DAVA is the only art program that is free all year round classes for kids in the community. So there really are no barriers to anybody that can participate.
Hi, my name is Celine. I am 17 years old. I've been within DAVA for 7 years as a student now and 3 years as a junior staff member. Going from a student to a junior staff member really helped build my leadership skills to this day. And I think sometimes it's this intimidation that makes an experience more powerful. Because if something is scary to you, it also means that you'll be able to learn and get the most from it once you overcome that fear. So I think if I had to say to my 10-year-old self, I would say, go for this opportunity. This is something that 7 years from now, you'll be so grateful you did. 10 years from now, you'll be learning and taking skills from DAVA into the real world.
Most of our students will come in shy. Some of them aren't even sure they're into art. The story of Boris that went to the White House, he wanted nothing to do with art. He just liked the new technology. But then got hooked on animation and design. And pretty soon he's becoming a peer leader and mentor. And most of our kids will say, you know, we're doing things and trying things and accomplishing things we never thought we could do before.
You got it. It'll be good. It'll be good. Yep. That is perfect. All that collectively makes a really powerful statement that, you know, even as youth, we are able to really make our impact in this world.
I am very proud that DAVA grew up in this Northern Aurora community. Personally, I've been here 17 years, first as a teacher and now as director. So this is really my community. It's where I know the families, the teachers, the police officers, the city council members, and it's so rewarding to be part of a long-term impact that a community arts center like DAVA can create. I taught students in middle school when I first started that are now bringing their kids back to our family arts program. So it's really about creating that legacy of caring and connection and community.
DAVA is very important for this community. In my opinion, is this community is diverse. You go down back to see a bunch of different types of foods and different types of places, shops, and everything. So I feel like having this whole opportunity of art making with young kids from different types of backgrounds, different types of languages, cultures, everything like that. They come here to create art, and I think that's amazing to have, especially in Aurora. And it's like Aurora is like the top tier of culture in Colorado, in my opinion.
We are made in Aurora, and we want you to be a part of our DAVA family.
Yay. So many thanks to Visit Aurora for providing that video. I think it just, like I said, captures kind of the magic of what happens at DAVA every day. We can start with the first slide. I do recognize again that many of you on this call are familiar with DAVA, but I also wanted to, I want to provide an overview of programs and the type of services that we offer for those of you that may not be as familiar, but also get a chance to show some of our current students and some of the exciting projects that we're working on, and share some of the successes and challenges that we've had over the last year. So I want to start with the fact that we updated our mission statement, actually working with Carrie, who was on the first part of the cultural plan as part of our cultural services grant consulting. It was wonderful for her to come and do a mission vision workshop with us and allow us to update that to DAVA engages diverse youth in meaningful arts education that sparks creativity, increases opportunity, and strengthens community. And it was really important for us to make the diversity of youth that we serve central to our mission. Right now, currently 80% plus of our students are immigrant and refugee youth. So I was very interested to hear the previous presentation and also share ways in which we're serving the youth in our community. So next slide. So we are a community arts center for youth on the corner of 14th and Florence Streets. And we offer free year-round programming for kids ages 3 to 18. So that means a kid can come in at 3 years old in our preschool family arts program and have access to after school and summer programming that is free all year round, every year until they graduate from high school. And we start that with our family arts program. These kids right here are ages 3 to 5 with their parents and guardians. And you can show the next slide. And this program is really it's an intergenerational program designed to introduce kids to the creative process while they're also developing their imagination, motor skills, school readiness, pre-literacy, all those things they're learning how to work within a classroom, often for the first time. This also really serves as a space for the adults, the parents and guardians, to connect in our community, especially our newly arrived parents who are looking for, how do I register my kid in school? Where can I find services that I need in the community? And it's become a really wonderful space for the parents to connect as well as the kids to learn. So next slide. When kids turn 6, they can enter our Open Studio program. And this program is really our biggest. It serves the most number of kids. We're open every day after school. So a lot of kids in the community walk from their local schools or they're dropped off by their parents. And they have a really wonderful, safe, inclusive space where they can just experiment. They're working with a full range of media, drawing, painting, sculpture. We do offer a full ceramic studio, which is extremely popular. Kids would do clay all day, every day, all year long. It's just an amazing space for them to be able to really express themselves and learn and get some of, that working with clay is very hands-on, and it's a wonderful opportunity for kids to learn. Next slide. In the front part of the studio, they're able to work with so many different materials. They're also really focused on interdisciplinary learning. We will weave in learning about health and science, all kinds of STEAM learning and different opportunities. And we're really looking at, what are kids curious about around in the world around them? What do they want to know more about? And then we're using art as a fun way to engage them and really increase their learning in a lot of different subjects, not just art. we're also really focused on social emotional learning. How do kids function together within a collaborative space, within a studio? They're learning to respect each other. They're learning to respect themselves and their own work process and their own creative process. They're learning to manage their emotions. They're learning to follow through on their process and finish projects they started. There's a lot of those social emotional skills that are layered into all of our programs, just on different age appropriate and developmentally appropriate levels. So next slide. We're seeing here some of the specialized STEAM explorations that we offer. And a lot of times we spend quite a bit of our summer working in arts and sciences and bringing in guest artists like Denver Museum of Nature and Science, guest scientists from there. This summer we had the Ocean Institute come in from Boulder and work with our students. We had the Biomimicry Design Alliance come in and teach kids all kinds of different things about nature. We work with a lot of different partners in the community in this program and in our older students programs. But this is, again, just a chance for them to just elevate their learning on many different levels. Next slide. And when kids when they start middle school, they can join our job training and arts and technology program. And this is our national awards winning program that won a National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award in 2014 that I referenced in the video. And we did send an Aurora Public School student to the White House to accept the award from Michelle Obama. And it was absolutely the highlight of his life and quite frankly ours. So this program, offers kids, they come twice a week after school, and they're really working on long-term project-based learning. They're identifying a theme in the community or an issue in the community or in their personal lives that they want to address. They are learning a new technique or new software to be able to do that. They're working in both computer arts and studio arts. And then they're really creating that kind of professional presentation of their work that feeds into our Dava gallery. So they're really showing what they're learning, and we are amplifying their voice back out into the community. And it's really about creative problem solving and addressing the things that they see in the world around them and the positive changes that they want to make in the community. Next slide. We also use a lot of layers of leadership at Dava from not only our staff many of our staff are immigrant and refugee, many of our staff are immigrants and share that lived experience with our students. We also have a junior staff level in our programs where they're mentoring. There are older students that have been through programs and they're mentoring younger students, making sure they're learning new software, working on translation, all kinds of different ways that they help welcome the students and really make sure they feel like they belong. We also have a really robust college intern program and a volunteer program. In 2022, we welcomed our first Anschutz campus medical student as an intern in our program. We were identified for their service learning program, which was absolutely incredible, very validating for the power of arts, the role of the arts in our health of our mind, body, and creativity, contributing to our health and well-being. Let's see, next slide. In our studio, students are working on collaborative projects together. And then again, all of the students in our job training program are learning how to present their work professionally. And so you'll see that installation in our gallery right here. Next slide. This is another example of some beautiful pieces that were created by students for an exhibition in 2022. Next slide. And then our newest program, Creative Action by Teens, this was the first program we actually added in 25 years. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary, as many of you know, this year. And in 2019, we decided to pilot this program. It grew out of the needs of our students who had continued on. They graduated on from job training in arts and technology as 8th graders, and they said, we want to stay at DAVA. We want to keep coming and keep making art. We need programs for high school students. So we created this new program, piloted it in November of 2019, and then we all know what happened. We had to keep this program going through the pandemic. We had an amazing group of students that was really committed to building the program, developing the program, and now I'm happy to say that this is the area where we are experiencing the most growth. In the last year, we have doubled this program size. This is all high school students from our local schools, and we have built out a new classroom to be able to give them the best equipment and potential to learn. And we really are focusing so much energy on the partnerships that are feeding from this program. And that includes, here you see two of our students who are actually worked on the logo design for the Charles Burwell School for Visual and Performing Arts. That was a wonderful collaboration. Next slide. Other projects include murals for the Stanley Market and Denver Urban Gardens. So in all of these cases, the Creative Action by Teens program just boosts those college and job skills to the next level. So with kids in this program, especially because they're in high school, they're really learning to look at their creativity, not just about exploring their own creativity and their own identities, but how do they see themselves in relation to almost like mock clients and partners, right? If they're commissioning a logo, how do they start to work with feedback and critical thinking and meeting deadlines and those things called deliverables and the things that they're going to start to learn about in their jobs. So this program really provides them that real world experience with a lot of support and mentoring along the way. Next slide. Our students also were very, very proud of their participation in Metamorphosis. I hope many of you were able to see that incredible memorial for the 10th anniversary of the Aurora Theater shooting. Our students provide all the visual art for that incredibly powerful piece. Next slide. And we also, I want to highlight a couple of our key partnerships because this is really programs and partnerships that not only feed us here in Aurora, but how we also outreach into the community. So this is a wonderful partnership that we've had for 15 years now, the One Club for Creativity Denver's annual paper fashion show. Our students have participated in this from the very beginning, and this is a full runway show of costumes, outfits, designs created entirely of paper. They're participating with professional artists and art directors in this runway show in Denver, and all of the proceeds from this program benefit DAVA, which is also, it's just been a really strong partnership, and it again gives our kids access to the opportunity to participate on this professional level. Next slide. We're also really, really proud of our partnership with the Colorado Film School and the Community College of Aurora. Every summer, our students have full access. They basically go take over the film school, which is incredible. They are able to completely produce their own films, from script writing to acting, directing, producing, post-editing, and then we do a big screening. This will be our 3rd annual DAVA Youth Film Premiere taking place at the Aurora Fox Theater, which is we're so excited to be able to show these kids films and really elevate their voices in our community at the Fox Theater. That's taking place on Friday, October 20th this year. While they're at the film school, they are able, again, to access, let's actually look at the next slide. They're able to access a full range of cutting edge equipment, and they're really building their job and communication skills in writing, directing, filming, acting, crafting their message, telling their story. And again, many of the students that participate in this program as immigrant and refugee youth, this is the first time they've been able to really tell their story and share their story. And these are incredibly powerful films that often go on to win Colorado Arts and Writing, the Scholastic Colorado Arts and Writing Awards. We won 3 gold keys in 2023, and our students' films are shown at the Denver Art Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art, and kids were selected to show at the Golden Environmental Film Festival, the Colorado Environmental Film Festival. They were the only youth entrants who were selected to show there. So super, super proud, and just an incredible partnership within the Aurora community and with the support of Community College of Aurora. Next slide. This is just one more shot of the type of equipment our kids get to work on. Shout out to Professor Jeffrey Chadwick there at the film school. He's been a huge partner and mentor to our students for, boy, we're about to be 15 years in that partnership. And then all of this comes together, all of this work and all of these programs that are buzzing and happening every day after school. It all feeds into our Dava Gallery, which, you know, was really created. It's at the center of our space. It was created as an educational showcase of our students' work, of their learning, of their creative solutions for the issues they see in the community, and their chance to really showcase, you know, we're showcasing youth achieving artistically, intellectually. Parents come, we have big opening receptions, family nights. These are all free events for our community. We think it's really important that our families are able to access culture right in their neighborhood. Most of our students do not travel into Denver to go to the museums and visit the galleries, and this is a point of access for us here in our neighborhood that also weaves that into their arts and cultural, into their all year long, into their neighborhood and their ability to participate in that and really, again, celebrate their youth achievement within that. You can go to the next slide. And last but not least, we do have a traveling art school, which is our outreach program that travels out into the community. Pre-pandemic, we were integrated in 4 different local schools, providing arts programming there. Our contracts have not come back after the pandemic as strong as we had hoped. Following those issues, it became school budget issues. So we haven't been invited back in and hadn't seen those contracts renewed. However, we are really busy out working with other community organizations who maybe don't have access to the level of arts facility that we do here. So it's been wonderful in providing specialty workshops, summer camp opportunities, lots of different things, either here at Dava or we'll bring the art out to you in the community. Next slide. So as I was preparing for this presentation, I came across my notes from the 2021 council presentation about how arts and culture programming builds community. And so I thought I'd throw that in here and make sure that I read through these points and I thought, are we still doing this? Are we doing this even better? Are we ready for this new cultural plan? And my answer was yes to all of these. So I just wanted to quickly talk about how, you know, access, you've heard me mention that a lot through our presentation. It's just that the arts provide the universal language to express our emotion, tell our stories, share our experience. Participation in the arts provides new opportunities to connect, learn, communicate, and build life skills, especially for our youth. Inclusion is really, really critical with all of us in the district. Our organizations embrace and celebrate the true diversity of our community in all of its forms. We're creating welcoming, inclusive spaces that strengthen participants' sense of identity and, most important, belonging. Equity, the arts are such a powerful, engaging platform to address issues of social justice and in our community, and then also generate creative solutions for change. And then the action piece is stronger than ever. We are sustaining involvement. Our sustained involvement in the arts builds participants' personal agency, motivates a new generation of creative leaders. We're seeing that every single day at DAVA. All of us as organizations continue to collaborate. We're driving innovation across sectors, city government, education, local business, and initiatives where we're giving back to the community, and more importantly, our youth are learning to give back to community as well. So I just wanted to put that in there and see that we were tracking in the right direction, and just kind of wrap up by saying, you know, we've been back in full capacity in 2022. We have been just really building new partnerships. Like I mentioned, some of the new organizations that we brought into the community as well. That's been a huge focus for our arts district. How are we attracting visitors to the community? How are we giving our youth new experiences to work with different organizations from around the metro area, especially with our partnerships through FCSD, everything that we're exposing and bringing to youth in that way. And right now our programs are full, we're working at full capacity, we're providing all this learning, and we're just really looking at how do we sustain this? How do we keep it all going? We're looking at safety and security. We're looking at making sure that our property and our facility we're able to give the best experience for our students. The City of Aurora has been incredibly helpful through ARPA grants, through safety grants, in helping us tackle some of those goals and make some of those improvements that allows us to stay here and continue doing this work for our community. So thank you for the support. And yes, there's always more, but I appreciate everything that we've just really had an outpouring of support from, like I said, the City of Aurora grants to Leadership Aurora projects that focused on moving DAVA forward. So it's wonderful to be able to thank you in person, and also take questions or hear any thoughts about anything that I said or what else we can do to support the community.
All right, thank you so much for your presentation. Councilmember Medina, do you have any questions?
Well, they do great work, and I've been over there and involved with them since about 2007, and we've collaborated on things at Morehead, and I wish to continue to support, and you know, I need to drop by and visit and see some of the new things they've been doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Murillo.
Yeah, I think I've shared this before, but I went to DAVA back in the day, so got a lot of love in my heart for the work that y'all do. I know I certainly have such fond memories, and it's really awesome to see how y'all have really expanded the service and offerings that you all do. I mean, I think it's keeping pace with like the changes and the needs of our youth. So just really excited to see that. I think I echo Councilmember Medina's sentiments, and that it's probably overdue for a visit to you all. But yeah, lots of really great things. If there's any update you want to give at a town hall, or you know, a collaboration. I've done like tours of like the different like facilities in the district for town halls and such, just to expose folks to the different organizations and the work that you all do. Please let me know if that's something you're interested in.
That's wonderful.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. I love seeing all the different work that you all are doing, and definitely also appreciate hearing about, you know, concerns and ways that council can support. So I guess other than, you know, you talked about the safety issues and the partnership with the city with respect to safety, are there any other ways in which council can support your work and your organization?
I think, I mean, this was really helpful to be a part of the range of presentations this afternoon in terms of the cultural plan and the district, and really supporting our work. We've been here, obviously, as DAVA 30 years from the very beginning. That 1993 was the year we were founded. And we consider ourselves a cornerstone in the district. And just being able to hear support for how we're working together. We've been at it, working together for a long time. We do a lot of collaborations outside, I think, maybe even of city knowledge. We're constantly working with the People's Building and the Fox and sharing students and putting programming together on a very grassroots level. So having that validation of the cultural plan and having some real support and momentum behind it, I think is only going to make this stronger and make really validate our district in terms of where we sit in the state plan. You know, we look at districts like Santa Fe and Rhino and the ones that are very, very well known, and there's no reason Aurora can't be right up there with that level of recognition and support. So I am a huge fan of moving this forward and just getting it done, making it happen.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for your work, for your contributions to our community, and you know, we look forward to continuing that collaboration as we move forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me to share and for all of your support.
Thank you. So
Take care.
with that, are there any miscellaneous items for consideration? No, seeing none. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 27th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. Does that work for folks?
With me?
Okay, so we'll go ahead and hold the meeting at that scheduled time. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.